And welcome back to Tight Sports, everybody. Welcome back to Tight Sports, the Alabama football megacast. Well, got to listen to our coordinators here to see how they are preparing to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. And let's see how they felt about last week's performance against ULM. Can they be honest enough to admit what the mistakes were? I did definitely see one or two or five on defense, Kane Womack. So I'll be listening to him intently. And, we didn't score every drive against ULM on offense, but I look forward to seeing what Coach Grubb, who I'm giving a little grace because this is his first year with us, see what he has to say. But I got my eye on Coach Kane. I can't even play with his name. I just call him Coach Kane. I mean, Coach Womack. Oh, Coach Kane. Yeah, Coach Kane. I don't know, man. I mean, y'all saw it, man. Let's just get into it. Y'all want to listen to me. Got to do this tight style, pull this thing up, see what he got to say. Still word, guys. I'm still word. Here we go.
Coach Womack will make his opening statement, and we'll go ahead and take some questions. So, Coach.
Okay. I thought, this past week, the emphasis that we made with the effort and physicality that we needed to play, relying back on what we call Bama fundamentals, which is effort and finish, hard shoulder tackling, playing with violent hands, and creating takeaways. We took a step in the right direction. I still think our execution is not good enough. We've got to continue to work and push there. We've put some things on tape that we're going to have to answer for as the season goes on and continues. We need to stay uncomfortable as a defense. That is my job to make sure that we do that. I think our coaches have coached with a great edge. I think our players are playing with a great edge from a standpoint of the way they prepared this past week, and it showed up on Saturday. But good teams improve, and you do that by moving and operating with purpose, and I think we need to continue to do that. Looking forward to a good opponent in Wisconsin, a team that we played last year. They look very different on offense in terms of some of the things they're doing schematically. Some of their personnel is the same. A number of guys are different, including the quarterback position. And so looking forward to squaring off with them on Saturday. But we've got to have a great week of preparation, and we need to make sure that we keep the focus on our players' ability to maximize their opportunity on Saturday. It always builds to Saturday, and we need to make sure we have a great week for that.
I appreciate the honesty, Coach. To be honest, there were some miscues still in this defensive set. I love you to say his violent hands. He uses a lot of coach speak, all the jargon, everything we want to hear. I'm sure it means a lot to the players. But I got to tell you, I mean, if we mess around, and I don't mean get beaten again like that, we get torched by another team, it's going to get kind of warm for Mr. Womack because I think people have just about had it with all the coaching spiel, all the talk of violent hands and the physicality. We just want to see it. And more importantly, we want to see it when you're losing.
What did you see from the interior defensive linemen who were working and taking Jeremiah Beaman snaps, and how is that looking going forward to replace him?
Yeah, I think I think you're seeing some good things from some younger players in Asai Faga and London Simmons. Both those guys did a good job. James Smith had a really good game. I think was a player of the game from a defensive line standpoint.
Yes,
did a nice job for us in there as well. And so I think we've got some guys that are trending in the right direction. But good teams improve, and those guys need to continue to do that as we go, especially in the level of consistent execution.
I'll tell you, they said that Steve Mbumwa, he's my guy. He's out of Canada. And I got to point at Coach Roach on this. The guy's been on campus for, I guess, his second year now. They say he does bring the heat, but he don't have a lot in the gas tank. That's the defensive line coach. If Isaiah Faga is undersized, heading into his second or third year, or he's not strong enough to be undersized and be on our team. You know, the only excuse out there is London Simmons because he's a freshman and he will learn. I did hear good reports saying he was able to at least handle his responsibilities. But I guarantee you all of the coaches are going to be looking at Coach Freddie Roach, because if these guys are coming in and they got a size and they stay the same for 2 or 3 years, they're going to look at him. He's the one bringing them up. And it's hard out there to get the defensive linemen that come in with just the size and the agility, and then you just teach them a couple skills. If we're not going to be able to get the creme de la creme, because really, as I look at recruiting, they're all spread out. If you look at the top 25 or 50 defensive linemen, really, they're not all piling up going to the same schools these days. Although I think a lot of them are going to end up at Texas Tech. Must be the money. But that means your coaching is going to be, you're not going to be able to get away with average coaching. You're going to have superior coaching for the defensive line, because as defensive line, I think you can build them. You can get a mold. You can mold them into what you want them to be. But if there's a better coach out there, you better believe Coach Roach did good in recruiting. But these injuries, got to have somebody that can microwave us a great defensive lineman. Microwave us a great defensive, FCC defensive lineman at that. Hey, that's just the job.
Coach, what do you feel like is preventing you guys from ending those quarterback pressures with a sack?
Yeah.
Honestly, you've got to be able to have guys that can finish, and right now we're not doing that. We're not doing that well enough. I think angles are a huge piece to that. I think closing space on a quarterback is a huge indicator, right, of having success. But right now we're letting quarterbacks, we can flush them out of the pocket, but we're not doing nearly a good enough job of getting the quarterback on the ground. We had 12 TFLs in the game the other day with no sacks. I don't
pretty good.
know if that's ever happened, at least in my experience.
TFL is pretty
and so we got to do a better job. I've got to find a way to get the quarterback on the ground in terms of what we're doing schematically. And so I need to help our guys out in that regard.
Well, if you could draw something on a piece of paper that helps get us more sacks, go ahead. But might I suggest a cattle prod? Not just playing.
Hey, Kane. I'm curious, thinking back to that first drive, you saw, James Smith kind of show enthusiasm, Justin Jefferson kind of show enthusiasm. Did you see an increased kind of fire or vigor in terms of responses to big plays from whether it's on the field, sideline? Was kind of the energy up in that regard? Did you see?
I thought our players met the standard of effort, physicality, passion that we've established here defensively, and that you have to play the game with defensively. And that's the standard. It's the expectation. And I thought we got them, they used as a point of emphasis. It was the thing that we did not show up well enough in the first game. Yeah. And our guys did a good job of emphasizing that, and it showed up. But again, that's who we are as a defense. That's who we should be.
I hope so.
And so the standard is a standard, and it was met this week when it was not in week one.
Like it was an option for week one.
Coach, what did you see from the inside linebackers, particularly the two younger guys, Caden and QB getting in on some turnovers?
Yeah. QB was in on 2 takeaways defensively, which was great. We've made an emphasis of not just creating takeaways, but trying to score, and we had an opportunity to do that, but fell a little bit short there. So I think a tight end chased him down, so we kind of gave him a hard time on that one.
Oh, man.
But I think one of the big emphases in the offseason is creating forced fumbles and punching at the ball, and QB did a really nice job of that. That last takeaway that we got, did a nice job of coming in there and punching the ball out. Those are things that we chart and practice every day. And he's a guy that continues to do those things in practice, and then it showed up on game day. So you always want to be able to reinforce your messages, right? And so when you can show guys, hey, he did this in practice, and then all of a sudden it showed up and he got production on game day, that's a good message.
Good job. I saw it.
How do you view Drake Kirkpatrick's fit at safety as opposed to Husky? And is there
also that tight end he's talking about? That man weighed about 182 pounds. That's why he ran him down. I call him a man slow.
Just how do you view Dre Kirkpatrick's fit at safety as opposed to Husky, and is there a coaching point for his targeting hit there?
Yeah, obviously, I think Dre did some good things at the safety position the other night. He's been doing that all spring. He's been doing that all fall camp. He plays the game with a lot of effort and energy, and some good things happen from that. He created one of our takeaways in the game, just flying around and hitting people. Obviously, when you're moving, towards a ball carrier in the manner that he was in the targeting call, if you just can't leave your feet, and put yourself in a position to eject right with your, with your helmet being the first part of your body that's going to make contact with the ball carrier. And so those are the things we talk to our guys about, making, taking the extra step, right? Not leaving your feet. That's bad football in general. But taking that extra step to make sure that we don't launch, that we're moving through the tackle instead of to the tackle. And so that's a point of emphasis that, that we made with him, and hopefully we get that cleaned up.
Keon Saab, Bray Hubbard, you got one half to make it happen. Because QB be back in the third. He'll be back in the third. Them boys hungry. Y'all better stay on point. Because Mr. Hubbard, Mr. Hubbard.
All right, thanks, guys. Roll time.
Against FSU, Playboy, you was tripping. You know good and well you was tripping. Let's see. Next up, Mr. Grubb come in and lay down in the smackers. Like I said, I won't be so tough on him. Backed it up a little bit. But yeah, Mr. Saab, and Hubbard, you don't notice. Kirkpatrick Jr. is in the house. Better get ready. Better stay ready.
How you saw Austin Mack and Keelan Russell play, especially Keelan, like in his first action for you guys, like was it what you expected? Things like that.
Yeah, I expected both of them to play well. They've done a lot of those same things in practice and, leading up to that moment. So I think, you want to just see how they perform, and stadium full of people, and they can make easy decisions. I thought they both did a good job, took care of the ball, didn't put it in jeopardy, made some good decisions. Obviously both had success getting the ball in the end zone, so they did well.
I agree. I mean,
how would you evaluate how Michael Carroll looked? And
Michael Carroll was on point. I just to confirm Tuesday, I did go through and I tried to come in the show with the answer. We had 3 quarterbacks at Alabama to throw for multiple touchdowns. They said on TV that's the first time we ever had multiple touchdowns from 3 quarterbacks in the same game. I was unable to find out if there was ever a time in Alabama history where 3 quarterbacks threw 1 touchdown in any other game. I did not find it. If that's true, that means that Caleb DeBoer has done something, was able to achieve something with his offense coordinator, Ryan Grubb, that's never been achieved by Paul Bear Bryant, by Gene Stallings, or Nick Saban, if that's true. And that is quite a feat. 7 touchdowns, 3 different quarterbacks.
Decisions, obviously both had success.
1 game.
Getting the ball in the end zone, so they did well.
How would you evaluate how Michael Carroll looked, and do you kind of see that as a competition at right tackle?
100% I see it as a competition.
Cap.
All these guys are competing for spots, so I thought Michael did a great job. I think there's some things he certainly needs to clean up, but the thing I like about Michael is, he does compete, and what you saw on the field, in the game that's how Mike practices too. So he's a super competitive, physical kid that I thought did a really nice job for his first time.
I do not think you will see Michael Carroll start at tackle this year. I think he will take over for Caden Proctor next year, hands down, but he will be the sophomore starter. He is physical. He is nasty. He's from IMG Academy. Absolutely love that guy. But, you got to keep the rhetoric going. And yes, Will Conformer does need to have keep a little heat up under his buns to get him going. But if you put Michael Carroll out there, even against Wisconsin, and especially against Georgia and Tennessee, we're going to have problems. Problems that we do not need.
With Jame out these first two games, just what have you seen from those running backs behind him? Kind of, what have they proved with their opportunities?
I thought obviously Kev is a guy that's made
Kev
the most out of all his touches. You know, I think he led the team again in missed tackles forced, and that's one of the things I think Kevin brings to the table is his ability to make people miss in open space, and real reliable out of the backfield, catching the football. And so I think he's kind of established that. I thought Rich had a couple of really, really physical runs, had a couple of really nice pass pickups where he was ultra physical. And then Daniel saw a couple plays in between tackles where he was able to drag some people. So I thought
yes.
all of their best characteristics kind of came out in different ways.
Just like they wrote it up on the wall. But I really think that Richard Young's going to be back in the starting position coming up this week, especially against a very physical Wisconsin team early. It was a good opportunity to get Richard some carries to make sure, Kevin, to make sure he can get hold on to the ball, getting some test by fire. And who knows, if Jam doesn't start, I do think that Richard Young gets back to that starting position, and maybe they go 1-2, and Daniel Hill getting about 6 to 8 carries. Man, packing the punch, bringing a load.
Where'd you see the most improvement from Ty game 1 to game 2?
Decision making. I thought he was extremely decisive. He was very dialed on his reads. He didn't pass on open players.
No
I thought he played great. I thought he was really, really into the game plan all week, and I was really hopeful that he was going to play very, very well.
Wisconsin's defense has been outstanding these first two games. I think they're giving up about 30 yards a game on the ground, and I think they've only given up one touchdown. What do you see from them schematically and also just what they do well in general?
Well, defensive head coach, there's going to be a little extra emphasis on stopping the run and those type of things. And, Coach Fickle does a great job of getting those guys to play hard. So no surprise that matches on film, how their guys run to the football, finish plays, extremely physical at the point of attack. And, for me, I saw a group of guys that know what they're doing. Their scheme is clear to them, and they know where to be on the field. So was impressed with just their discipline to be in the right spots.
Well, I would tell you like this. Yes, they did do well defensively against their two opponents. I think they won their first game 17-10 against Miami of Ohio. And they also shut out their next opponent. I think it was, 31-0 or something like that against Middle Tennessee State University. So when you take the derivative and then you subjugate over the passive verb and put that into SEC lingo, we probably gonna have about 225 yards rushing on that. Yeah.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned Ty's improvement, but for the offense as a whole, how do you feel like you've seen improvement, and what areas do you still want to see growth in?
Well, I thought their biggest step forward was honestly the week of practice they had. I thought that was, I know that's probably not the sexiest thing to say, but they did. They had a good week of practice, and I thought that it really showed. I literally showed them on Sunday that got all the information from our strength staff and physical output. They wear those catapults, and I just showed them, they practice harder. It showed.
The catapult is that little. Sometimes you see athletes out there wearing something that looks like a sports bra. It's actually taking in information. Problem is, catapult, you can get a compression shirt, a full compression shirt, and I know it gets hot out there, but some people choose to go with the one that cinches up around the chest. I think it has some straps that go over your shoulder or around your neck. I don't know. It looks very much like something that a female track athlete will wear. Big guy like me definitely will opt for the compression shirt, which still would look ridiculous on me.
And I thought that was something that was kind of cool to be able to show them, back it up with a little bit of science. But then, you watch the game tape and they played inspired. So I hope we keep that up.
Second game, yeah. First game.
Yeah, hey, Coach. With playing Austin for a series in the second quarter, I believe that's something you guys did at Fresno with Jake Haener. Just what did that do for Jake then, and what are you maybe hoping it does for Ty now?
Well, it pissed Jake off, but but that's Jake. But it helped, I thought, at the time for him. And Ben Ward, who was a really good quarterback, I thought it kind of got him locked into, remembering all the things they needed to do and be clean on his preparation and prove that he's the guy, all those kind of things. And a little bit different scenario then, but that certainly was a story that I shared with Ty. And, I thought in the right way, Ty handled it the right way and just, attacked it and just kind of dug in and, focused more on himself, which is the toughest part about playing quarterback, is not letting outside influences, whether it's another quarterback, somebody from outside the program, affect the way you prepare. And I thought Ty was elite at that last week. He just dove into the preparation and did a great job.
I like keeping the quarterback and the players focused. Wilkin Formby or Saab and Ray Hubbard and them, but with your quarterback, but putting two quarterbacks in, that's something else. I used to watch last year with Texas games, and they used to let Arch do 2 series, and I tell you, it'd take 2 more series before Ewers would get back in the flow of the game, or maybe it was a little down or whatever. I don't know. And it was in the second quarter too. I get it. Not a fan. Don't want to do it against Wisconsin. Or if we do it against Wisconsin, I hope that's the last time. And definitely not with 2 quarterbacks. I mean, running Keelan and running Austin, it would be a bit ridiculous. But it does pay to get somebody ready to play. But I like to, as long as we're up by 21 before you make a switch, especially in the second quarter. We're not. There's still meat on that second quarter bone.
Yeah, Ty said after the game he was coached really hard last week and wants to continue to be coached hard. What does that kind of tell you about him?
That's not surprising. I mean, that's something that Ty certainly, shared with me as well. And, that was something I told him after the first game was,
do it.
I told you, everybody on the team's got to look inward and, what we can own. And I thought maybe I wasn't, hard enough on Ty. And, I didn't harden him enough for the moment of the first week. And I told him I wouldn't, make that mistake again.
There we go.
Coach Jaden Roberts getting his first action of the season. What did you see out of him, and how's he coming along post-concussion protocol and getting back into the flow of things?
Yeah, Jaden played well. I thought he had about 4 blocks that I thought, were good finisher blocks that you expect out of a guy like J-Rob. I think, he's still working himself into game shape. He was out for a decent amount of time. So getting him back to where he can play a full football game, he's still, kind of getting through all that. But he did a great job. Thank you.
Hey, I didn't get a roll tide out of that guy. Well, that's that. I like the fact that Dewberry's been playing and Gino Vandermar has been playing now that Jaden's back. I think we run about a good 7 across that offensive line, maybe even 9, maybe even 8 with the Michael Carroll coming in. So we'll see if everybody gets to play on Saturday. Looking forward to it. Watching the Crimson Tide take on the Badgers of Wisconsin. And as always, remember, closing out, always remember, roll, Tide, roll.